Welcome back. I'm Brooke Baldwin here, and for the next 20 minutes, you know the deal by now. We're tackling the hot topics you will be talking about around the dinner table tonight. Here's where I want to start with a first grader banned from using little girl's room because she was born a he. 6-year-old Coy Mathis here is transgendered. She identifies herself as a female. She's been wearing girls' clothes. Her parents say she's been this way actually since she was 18 months old. And for the first half of the school year, she was using the girls' bathroom at her elementary school. This is in Fountain, Colorado. But in December, school officials gave her parents a letter saying Coy would not be allowed to use the girls' bathroom when class resumed after winter break. The letter did say that students and parents would start to become uncomfortable with Coy using the girls' room. The parents are saying that's not fair. They have now yanked their daughter out of school. They're filing a complaint under the state's Anti-Discrimination Act.
We have filed the complaint with the school, and we're hoping that, that they will change their minds and they will come back and teach that you can love somebody and you can accept somebody even if they are different. We just want what is best for Coy. We want her to have the same opportunities as all of our other children, and we want her to be able to go back to school and be treated equally without discrimination and harassment.
So let's talk about this. Let me bring in our Hot Topics panel. Amy Palmer, founder of PowerWomenTV.com, Jack Moore, editor of BuzzFeed Sports, Jennifer Hutt, host of Just Jenny, Bomani Jones, contributor for SBNation.com. And for this first segment, we also wanted to have a doctor on, so pediatrician Dr. Jim Sears joins me. Welcome to all of you. Jack Moore, I want to begin with you here. And keep in mind, let me just be entirely transparent that even though the school apparently said that Coy can't use the girls' room, she can use the nurses' room, she can use the faculty bathroom, she can use the boys' restroom. Jack Moore, how do you think that the school fared in this one? Bad call, good call?
This is a terrible call. I just let her use the bathroom that she wants to use. She's a transgendered little girl. How many times do we have to see these small town schools fall on the wrong side of history with these things? If you're given the choice in life between showing compassion for a little girl who is struggling with something that's intense and personal and being outraged about the potential issues with that, show compassion. That's an easy answer.
Bomani, what do you think?
Well, I thought it was surprising that they said that other students would have a problem with it, like if they didn't have a problem already. If they didn't have a problem now, I don't see why the school would necessarily need to do something. But I also think we need to be fair. There's one place in this society that we have had no problem with segregation, and you rarely hear arguments about it, and that's the bathroom. That's the one place where we have said these people go here, these people go there. When you start talking about transgender stuff, I think it really gets hazy in people's minds conceptually, not understanding what is going on, and it leads to decisions like these, because no matter what, somebody's going to wind up being uncomfortable.
Let me read something. This is the attorney here representing the school district, taking into account not only Coy, but the other students in the building, the parents, the future impact a boy with male genitals using a girl's bathroom would have as Coy grew older. Jennifer, what do you think?
This is ridiculous, and I'll tell you why. In women's bathrooms, there are no urinals. So the argument about the boys' genitalia, come on. Furthermore, I think if this kid, what I've read, has been issued a federally issued passport that states she's a girl, then that should trump the law at state level, and this little girl should be able to use the girls' bathroom.
That's correct. Her ID card also identifies her as a girl. But let's just say, let's take the family out of it. If you're a parent of other little girls at this school and you see Coy coming and going out of this bathroom, how do you explain to your children who come to you and say, Mommy, why is a little boy going to the bathroom with me?
How I explain it?
Yeah.
No,
I'm just looking at the other side.
But she's not a boy.
Dr. Sears, how would you explain that?
I'm actually I have 3 kids, a daughter and 2 boys, and as when my daughter was that age, I would have been very uncomfortable if there was a boy with a penis walking around their bathroom. And you say that the stalls are private. At that age, most boys especially will use the bathroom, then leave their pants down while they walk to the sink to wash their hands and then pull it up. So it's going to be very uncomfortable for the other girls seeing a penis in their bathroom.
You're saying
she has a
girl.
penis.
Sir, that makes some assumptions. Sir, that
But I
makes
think you have to
assumptions
look
about
at
the
the
way that
damage
she
that it's doing
behaves.
to the young girl. I think you have to look at the damage that it's doing to Coy. I mean, why are we doing this in the middle of the school year? Shouldn't this have been addressed in September? Why not wait until June? Get the summer to get everybody ready.
I think that's a valid point.
But if she's a little girl, if she identifies herself as a little girl and is a little girl, she's not walking around with her pants down, because that wouldn't be typical little girl behavior. She's a girl.
Dr. Sears, here's my second. Hang on, everyone. Here's my second question. This came up in our morning meeting. We were all over the place on this one. The fact that according to the parents, she started identifying as a she and not a he at 18 months of age. Dr. Sears, have you heard of that before? Is that, I mean, a lot of kids love trucks and tutus. My poor brother, I might have put a few tutus on him. I mean, you know, is that too young?
Yeah. Typically at that age, kids know the difference that, you know, trucks are boy, dolls are girl toys, but often they like to play with both, and they don't really show a huge preference. That strong preference usually doesn't kick in till age 4 or 5 even, where the boys will absolutely not wear a shirt if it has a pink stripe in it. So to see this strong of a feeling that early is certainly not typical. But you know, reading about this child, she has very strong feelings, and I think actually very mature feelings about this. When she was 4 years old, she asked her parents to take her to the doctor to fix her body. So certainly she has a very strong identity as a girl. The problem is she has the biology of a boy, and that's why we're here talking about it.
What about, though, as we're seeing more and more of these cases coming to light? This is a first in the state of Colorado. There are policies, for example, in a state such as New York. How should we handle this nationwide as transgendered issues are popping up increasingly?
Taking care of groups that will be ostracized and could face people pointing at them and saying they're different is always the best policy. It's always better to take care of people and show compassion to people, especially children. The idea that Coy is going to walk around with her pants around the ground because she has a penis is insane, because this isn't a little girl playing dress up. Getting a passport with a female listed as a female is not like something you do overnight. That's a difficult thing to do, and she was able to do it. Therefore, it's insane to
and she's not in school right now, and she's being homeschooled. We'll see where this goes. It's the first, as I said, in Colorado. I want to leave this because I have a couple other topics I want to get to. Meantime, Dr. Sears, thank you so much for joining me on this segment. You can watch Dr. Sears weekdays on The Doctors. The rest of you all stick around, because coming up next, not exactly your average gun buyback plan, you could say. My panel takes on this new proposal, this is in New York, to swap firearms for Beyonce tickets. That's next. How about this one for a gun buyback program? Give up your gun, get a ticket to a Beyonce concert. The New York Daily News is reporting that music mogul Michael Williams is proposing New York's first private sector buyback program. It has a name. This is Guns for Greatness, and he's hoping tickets to see Beyonce, and we all know it's not all cheap to see her, in August, will be enough incentive to get guns off the streets. The program still has to get approval from New York City Police Commissioner Ray Kelly, but it is getting positive responses here from Brooklyn's District Attorney Charles Hines. Panel, back in. Amy Palmer, I want to hear from you. What do you make of this Beyonce ticket and guns?
I think it's brilliant. I think that this mogul knows his audience. He knows that they want to see Beyonce. He knows there's an incentive. But here's the genius part about it. He's going to get these kids mentors. So these kids will be around people that they've never had access to before, who will help them learn other skill sets. That's why it's brilliant. The Beyonce's just the hook. Beyonce is just the story, but really it's about mentorship and getting those guns off the street.
So, Bomani, have we really come to this now where we can't just offer cash? We're offering Beyonce tickets?
Well, I mean, I guess you could offer cash, but nobody's willing to do that.
That's what everyone's been doing. I mean, we tried looking at other creative ways. It's just cash, cash, and more cash. This is the first time we've heard of this kind of thing.
Well, people have done it with playoff tickets in the NBA. I remember that maybe about 15 years ago in Atlanta. But I think the better question is, and the more interesting part is, if you were willing to part with your gun over over Beyonce tickets, why in the world did you have the gun in the first place? This is what this illustrates. If people are willing to give up guns for something like going to a concert, you can't feel that unsafe in your home that you feel like you need a gun, because Beyonce will not keep the burglars away.
I want to move on. We have to talk again. We talked about this Monday. This has not gone away. Yahoo CEO is Marissa Mayer. Her new policy banning employees from working at home. She says no telecommuting, sparking huge debate across Silicon Valley, really across the offices in the whole country, about this role telecommuting has in the modern workplace. So the new peg, if you will, is that Yahoo has now put out this new statement acknowledging this uproar. And here is what they are saying. We don't discuss internal matters. This isn't a broad industry view on working from home. This is about what is right for Yahoo right now. Jenny Hutt, I read your opinions on this one. You are calling Mayer a hypocrite. Why?
Well, listen, I heard that she built a nursery right next to her office inside Yahoo. So that's kind of hypocritical. I don't know her. I would love to be able to do that when I'm at work, to have my almost teenager and teenager with me everywhere. But if I was not able to work from home some of the time, that would really be devastating on my family life and on my work life, because I'd be worrying so much about what was going on with my family life. I think it's a step back. It's a step back for women.
Who disagrees?
I think it's a little overblown. I think it's a little overblown. I understand the concern about balancing work and home. It's a very legitimate concern. And it's dumb of Yahoo in many ways, not the least of which is that research shows that productivity is actually increased in the workplace with telecommuting. So it seems like a dumb decision from a business standpoint. But it's also, it rings somewhat, I don't want to say false, but it rings a little, I don't know, but people are killing for jobs. I almost said arrogant, but it's not arrogant. It's just that people would kill to be able to go to an office right now. Like, there's so much unemployment in this country.
You're saying perspective.
The issue is that she's representing the new woman. She's representing women who are saying, I can be the CEO, I can have a family. And what she's done is saying, actually, you can't. You're not going to be able to telecommute. Right. You're not going to be able to make this work for you, because I'm going back to the old way. And that's what this uproar is about.
Perhaps
this is
she's
a much larger discussion.
Perhaps
We're
she's
looking
also
at her as a figurehead.
that she was frustrated that late in the morning, too few cars were showing up, and closer to 5 o'clock, more people were leaving. She was frustrating. Maybe Yahoo needs better productivity, and she's just thinking, hey, if you're less productive, let's just run you off, and I'll get more higher. Good people this way. Say it again.
But I feel like
when I work, sorry.
When I work, go ahead.
Oh, when I work from home, I end up getting more done and working more hours. I do everything. Yeah.
Right. Absolutely. But the CEO of Yahoo said that this isn't about women or individuals. It's about the corporation. And I've telecommuted for the better part of my working life.
But I
won't pretend as though there is not.
And that's what the message is. It's about women in the workforce and families, and making it work for families who need dual income.
That is a message. That is a message. But let's also not pretend as though there is not something that does get lost when people are so separate from each other in terms of identity and an office and the way.
What about the aspect of
Right, but but that doesn't mean that every other point gets discounted completely. From what she's saying, there is some credence to the idea that there's something to be said for people working in the same office. This is what Steve
Jobs did in Cupertino with Apple. Let me read two other voices, prominent voices here in this kind of community. Richard Branson, critic of this idea, quote, "We like to give people the freedom to work where they want, safe in the knowledge that they have the drive and expertise to perform excellently, whether they're at their desk or in their kitchen. Yours truly has never worked out of an office and never will. In the meantime, Mr. Trump, Donald Trump, here's his tweet. Marissa Mayer is right to expect Yahoo employees to come to the workplace versus working at home. She is doing a great job."
I mean, it's an old school way of thinking versus an entrepreneur. Literally, the new way of working is the entrepreneur way. People have had to invent jobs. They invent jobs in Starbucks. They invent jobs in their apartments. Marissa Mayer is setting women back. And I'm telling you, this is a large message. Even though it's not directed at women, that's why the uproar.
Bomani, last word, and then we're going to agree to disagree and move on. Bomani, last word, go.
All the points about the message may be correct, but to pretend as though there were no values and old ways of doing things and that everything modern is necessarily better, I think is a fallacy.
All right, next, gay or straight, McDonald's or Burger King, pillow or blanket? These are some of the weird questions team executives are actually asking these NFL draft prospects, but why? And are some of these questions okay? Our panel tackling those answers next. 40-yard dash, vertical leap, just a couple of the skills NFL scouts are looking for during the annual combine going on this week in Indianapolis. But apparently scouts also want to know a little bit more than how many times a player can bench press 225 pounds. I want you to listen to what one prospect told ESPN Radio.
They ask you, like, do you have a girlfriend? Are you married? Do you like girls? Those kinds of things. And it was just kind of weird, but, they would ask you with a straight face, and it's a pretty weird experience altogether.
Weird, he says. You hear that? NFL hopeful saying he was asked by a scout if he likes the ladies. The league told Yahoo Sports it has no direct policy on the line of questioning teams can use, only that they adhere to employment laws. Still, is sexual preference now as relevant as a stat like touchdowns, interceptions? Jack Moore, I want you to start here. What's your reaction?
This is so insane.
Insane?
It's so, it shows a total disconnect between the sports world and the rest of the world. The rest of the world is finally coming along on gay rights, and the sports world is still stuck years before. The Teo situation, the first question was obviously like, is he gay? The big Katie Couric moment was, are you gay? And the question is not even the problem. The problem is if the answer was yes, is that big of a problem? It just shows that more than ever we need some major pro athlete to come out of the closet at the height of, like while they're in the league. We can't
while
keep
they're
waiting
playing
for guys.
And not afterwards.
But we need a Jackie Robinson of this cause. Because we just need an example to show that, I can still play at the same high level,
actually,
and I don't want to.
I talked to Wade Davis recently, and I'll play that sound in just a minute, but it's interesting you bring up Manti Te'o, which according to Mike Florio with, ProFootballTalk.com and NBC Sports, he's like, that's the elephant in the room. That's why these scouts are asking, are you gay or are you not? I'm not saying they're asking in that way. Listen to the sound. This is Mike Florio talking about Manti Te'o and this whole thing.
Here's the elephant in the room for the teams, and it shouldn't matter, but we have to step aside from the rest of reality and walk into the industry, the unique industry that is the NFL. Teams want to know whether or not Manti Te'o is gay. They just want to know. They want to know because in an NFL locker room, it's a different world. It shouldn't be that way.
Bomani Jones, here's my question, because I was thinking, is there a double standard? Because a lot of this took shape after 49ers player Chris Culliver, right? He made those anti-gay remarks, something like, I don't do guys in the locker room, something to that effect. Made news. He apologized. NFL said, hey, you're going to take, mandatory tolerance training. At the same time, now we're hearing about scouts asking, do you like girls? What's the deal?
Well, there's a couple things. One, in these combine interviews, they ask whatever they want to because they can. It's the unmitigated arrogance of the NFL and the players being young and thinking they have to put up with that stuff. That's a big reason why they ask. But when you start talking about sexuality and the teams asking, first of all, NFL security probably has a good idea one way or another. They don't need to ask to truly find out. And then once they find out the answer, that has nothing to do with how the locker room is going to receive this, because it's not as if those guys, if they believe such a thing, are then going to go to the team and the team's going to say, hey, he told us he wasn't gay, he's not gay. Those decisions and those interactions are going to be done by themselves. The problem with the NFL is that it appears that rather than to challenge what is discriminatory and what is obvious, their decision is, well, we're just going to keep somebody out of it because it will cause us too much stress.
It's a bigger picture question, too, in terms of being gay, as Jack brought up, being openly gay while you're playing, football or any other major sport. Let's say that. I talked to Wade Davis. He came out last year. This is after he retired from playing. Here's what he told me. Why didn't you come out while you were playing?
I didn't come out because I grew up with the ideology that I could never be a gay athlete. From the time I was 7 years old playing the game of football, I always thought that my sexuality and the game of football didn't mix. So I'm just trying now to teach people that you can be who you want to be and play any sport or do any career.
Jenny Hutt, you get the last word. When do things change?
When Jack said before about gay rights have to come farther, it's just rights. We're all the same, whether straight, whether gay. I mean, everyone needs to grow up already.
Grow up already. Let's end on that. Amy Palmer, Jack Moore, Jenny Hutt, Bomani Jones. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.